Hi, it's Liz here from Her.ie and we're joined by Louise Lennox and Siúcra to make some cronuts. So Louise, can you tell us all about this cronut craze?
Well, these are taking over the world, Liz, and they are a cross between a donut and a croissant. They are to die for, and the good thing about this recipe is this is fast to make, whereas people stateside are queuing for up to 4 to 6 hours in line to buy one of these.
I've heard all about them and I'm dying to try it.
They're
so
gorgeous.
What's involved?
Okay, so I'm just going to put in the water and the milk. Put in the yeast now. If the water is too hot, it basically kills off the yeast.
Okay.
The next thing I'm just going to do, give me that pink bowl. I'm going to pour it in here. And then I'm going to leave that aside just for a minute or two and get cronutting. So in here is strong flour. And strong flour's got more gluten in it, so it's going to give us a lovely rise and make it delicious and crunchy to eat. And I've got unsalted butter here. Now a little tip, because I've made this for the home baker. And tried to make it as easy as possible. I put this unsalted butter in the freezer for an hour, and it's going to mean when I grate this, it's not going to just break up into little pieces.
Oh wow, it's like cheese when it's actually been grated.
It is, yeah, it's like cheese. Believe me, it doesn't taste like cheese.
Yeah.
And I use unsalted butter is really important because if you use regular butter, it's going to affect the rise of the cronuts.
Okay.
The next thing is a little bit of salt, and it's very important that you don't put too much salt in.
What would happen if you put in too much now?
It kills off the yeast. So too much salt stops the yeast from working. Not enough salt, you're going to have this not working either. It's going to rise too fast. So salt in there. And then the next thing I'm going to put in is some Siúcra caster sugar, my favorite.
Okay.
So I'm going to pop that in there. The idea with this is you don't want to break up the butter. You want to see lots of lumps of butter going through it. So it's really just making sure the butter is just got a flour dusting around it. Next up, I'm going to put an egg in here. And if you give that a little whisk for me.
Okay.
And then I've got my secret ingredient. And this is a little bit of distilled vinegar. And what this does in pastry, you're not going to taste it, but it gives it a lovely flaky bit to the pastry.
Oh, I love that.
My secret. And then if you just put that in.
Okay.
And this is how simple it is. All I'm doing is just working this around until it just kind of makes a very soft dough. And then just very lightly with both hands, just scrunch it together. Now, these don't take much time to actually make, but you have to put this in the fridge. You have to leave a little time in between it. So as I just bring this together, this is going to have to rest up for 2 hours in the fridge. So this has been 2 hours in the fridge.
Okay.
And you can see the big lumps of butter. This is what we want. This makes it nice and flaky when you cook it off. Little dusting of flour.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to very lightly roll it back and forth. Now, if it's a little bit sticky, just use a tiny bit of flour. And then this is where the mystery comes in. Because when people read this, they get slightly confused about what way to actually fold it. So you're folding it in 3.
Okay.
So you fold one away from you, and then the one into it. So you're kind of making 3 folds. And then sprinkle a little bit of flour down, and then the same again. This is it after 6 hours in the fridge, and it grows an awful lot.
Yeah.
You need to put a middle in them. So you can use an apple core, you can use the top or the back of the little nozzle, or here's another little ring one. So I'm just going to use this because we don't want to waste too much of the dough, and you don't throw these out, these little bits inside. I keep these as well. Next thing, very simple, just flour tray.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to put the little cronuts on, and then these need to rise up again, so these are going to take at least half an hour to rise.
Okay.
And kind of want to double in size, and then to help them rise, I just put some cling film over them. Okay, Liz, so handle with care, and just drop them in. And big mistake a lot of people make when they're frying is they overcrowd the fryer. I really just cook 2 of these at a time.
Okay, so give them space.
So they're just going to fry away around 2.5 minutes each side, and because I love timing everything, I actually do time the minutes as well. So on your marks, get set, go. So cronuts are made, and I'm going to show you how to make an amazing topping for them. So I'm using the Siúcra rollout icing. This is brilliant. Have you ever had the likes of the French fancies and you get that lovely soft icing you bite into?
Them. Yeah.
Yeah, this is how you make it. A lot of people don't know it, but it's actually made with rollout icing, and you just cube it up, chuck it in the bowl, I'm going to add a little bit of water into it.
Perfect.
A generous amount of jam, because this gives it colour and it gives it flavour. So the jam I'm using here is peach and raspberry jam with some vanilla, and I've sieved it. So as you can see, there's no seeds or anything like that in it. You don't have to sieve it, but I just think for eating this with a pastry, it's much nicer. And let that melt down. The last trick is to inject it. Have you ever injected cakes?
No.
So you fill the injector here.
Okay.
Take a cronut, make sure it's cooled down a little bit. And like all donuts have a nice jam filling, these should have the same as well. And you just put a little bit in till it comes back at the top. I love jam. Homemade jam's the best. So I like to make sure I've got at least 5 or 6 of these little incisions going around. So then all I'm going to do is stick this in the icing. You can pipe it on, but I prefer to stick it in because it's less washing up and then you get more icing that way. And then last bit, I kept a little bit of the icing back that I didn't put the jam into. And then you get a nice professional looking finish.
Oh, that looks amazing. Thank you. And that's how you make cronuts.
Yes, another sweet treat from Siúcra.